That's better there. That was better there. Now, what I'm doing, oddly enough, is this. If I can get you firm here, I can get this to fold.
When the best golfers in the world need to sharpen their skills, they look for the best teacher in the world. And over 100 touring pros look to Jimmy Ballard's Golf Workshop at Doral Resort and Country Club in Miami, Florida for that competitive edge. Like Jimmy Ballard, the Doral name stands for excellence. Spread over 2,400 acres, Doral offers sun and relaxation, as well as exercise and recreation. It's the home of the luxurious Doral Saturnia International Spa Resort, nationally recognized as one of the top spas in the eastern United States. But it's championship golf that Doral is best known for. 99 challenging holes spread over 6 courses, including the infamous Blue Monster, site of the Doral Open on the PGA Tour since 1962. At Doral, the adage practice makes perfect rings loud and clear. A lighted driving range on the resort side offers guests a constant workout. And if you need assistance with your swing, then head down the range to the Jimmy Ballard Golf Workshop, where high handicappers and scratch players practice the true fundamentals under the watchful eye of Jimmy Ballard. Jimmy has been teaching golf for nearly 3 decades, and over that time he's devised a definitive and organized method to enable golfers to understand the fundamental golf swing. For years, he studied the great ball strikers, Hogan, Snead, Nelson, and found similarities in all their swings. Today, along with his staff of teaching professionals, Jimmy Ballard connects golf swings with the proper fundamentals. Through classroom workshops that allow students to see the right moves, to personally videotape sessions on the practice tee, Jimmy Ballard emphatically proves that the golf swing is nothing more than a natural athletic move. Ballard is best known for his work with successful touring pros like Curtis Strange, Sandy Lyle, Seve Ballesteros, and Hal Sutton. But it's working with amateur players of all levels, men and women, young and old, that he finds most rewarding. Each week, Jimmy looks at hundreds of swings. He is a student of the game. And for 30 years, he has studied the fundamental golf swing.
Yeah. Now, that's what I call a good golf swing. But it ought to be. He's my #1 assistant. I'd like to introduce you to Artie McNichol. He's going to demonstrate for you the fundamentals of the golf swing, what we call the common denominators, which, as you will see, is nothing more than an athletic move in the golf swing. Artie played the tour some 10 years, from 72 to 81.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, the first 5 years I couldn't break an egg out there. I came in to see you in 1977, and my golf swing got a whole lot better, and I had a lot more fun out there. But I'm not so sure there's much of an athlete left in this body.
Don't tell me that now. For sure, golf professionals are athletes, and that swing that you just made was an athletic swing. And I want all of you to know, all athletes have athletic moves, whether it's golf, whether it's baseball, whether it's boxing, whether it's hockey, football, it makes no difference. All pro golfers are athletes.
Everyone that has ever played golf has at one time or another wanted to hit the ball long and straight. Today, Jimmy will demonstrate and explain common denominator number 5, the firing of the right side. Jimmy and Artie will show that once the right side has been loaded, a player must learn to fire the entire right side of the body at the ball. This will enable the player to maximize his full potential in achieving distance as well as accuracy. Jimmy will also explain how the right hip must go up to hit down on the ball.
Would you like to work on your game at the world-famous Jimmy Ballard Golf Workshop at Doral Country Club in Miami, Florida? The place where so many top touring professionals go to benefit from Jimmy's proven and time-tested methods. Pros at the pinnacle of their careers that still come home to Jimmy to work on the basic fundamentals. Well, if you can do the next best thing. Bring Jimmy home to you. The world's most successful teacher has just completed his all-new instructional videotape. Over an hour long, it methodically spells out and illustrates the very same fundamentals, complete with tips and drills that have helped so many touring pros. If you can't go to Jimmy, do your game a favor. Take Jimmy Ballard home with you. To order your copy, send a check for $49.95 plus $4.95 shipping and handling, payable to Ballard Reed Associates, care of Resolution, 1 Mill Street, Burlington, Vermont. or use your credit card and call 1-800-843-0048.
For a golfer to be able to fire the right side, he must load the right side. It's a move common to all athletes. We do not want anyone to sway. We do not teach a sway. We teach a coil behind the ball of the spine and the body into the set of the right leg, like a good athlete would do. If a guy wanted to chop a tree down with an axe, he'd get here to square the axe up to the tree. How far do you think he'd get with his head down and a stiff left arm trying to chop a tree down? So his spine, his body would shift to the right. Can everybody see that? That's important. We tell it in this manner. It's like you had a wall waist high right here. Your upper body, your shoulders, would coil back against that wall. A sway would be to go over that wall, to go through that wall. And we've certainly not told anyone to do this. You could never get back to the ball if you swayed or went outside the leg and over the wall. We want you to coil up to that wall. That's what we call loading the right leg, loading up so you can fire your right side and go down the line of flight. Where would you toss from? Your right leg, the wall. Where would a forehand down the line in tennis go? Right into the wall. Where do you think a baseball player hits from? Into the wall. And you're going to tell me to play the game of golf and to propel a ball in that direction, you got to keep your head down, stay on your left side. Do you really think you could propel a ball in that direction from there? No way in the world. Most of you sway away from the wall on your backswing. So on your downswing, you pull down, go back, and come across the line of flight every single time. If you'd move up against this wall into the inside of your right foot, it's the right foot is square. It's into the right foot, the right knee, the right thigh. You coil into it. Now my whole right side is loaded for me to make a hitting motion, a tossing motion, a natural motion to throw or hit something in that direction. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, I'm going to leave it at that then, and I'm going to assume that you understand three basic things here. One, that we're not going to try to hold the head down and still over the ball. We're just going to forget the head. The second thing is that you understand connecting the left arm and getting your legs braced, and we want you to take what, as you set up to the ball, this triangle, we call it. Your hands and arms in relation to your shoulder joints would form a V or a triangle. Every great player takes this V or this triangle straight back together to waist high, all of them. And when they do that, do you see when you do that, your right arm is above your left arm where you started, to waist high. The club hasn't changed. The club is still in the center of my body. I'm choking it to show you, but can you see if I take it back, it's still in the center of my body. Now, from there, the right elbow folds and the club falls right in. And where am I? Loaded right into my right leg. I'm in a position now to take my right side and hit something hard. Does that make sense to everybody? But most of you will find you've got the stiff arm, keep your head down, and most of you are over here trying to hit something hard. Big mistake. Does that make sense to everyone? And I want you to understand this. If you're a right-handed golfer, it's a right-handed game. If you're a left-handed golfer, it's a left-handed game. And I've heard some very ridiculous statements made. I've had a lot of left people playing golf, right-handed, who tell me they were naturally left-handed, but were advised because, as they thought, and I will prove to you before you leave that it's wrong, they were advised that the golf swing is all left side. It's all a pull with the left arm. That is so ridiculous that it really, I don't even know why you should have to talk about it, but you do, because everyone's been educated that way. But I want you to understand there's no power in pulling your left arm in a golf ball, not in the manner that it's been taught. There is no power. The power is in your left arm laying here, which creates what we call inner force of centrifugal force, and the power is in the left arm being soft and laying here connected, where you can take your right side and hit it hard. Ben Hogan, when he wrote The 5 Fundamentals of Golf in 1957, he couldn't have written it any better, in my opinion. He talked about two things. He talked about holding the handkerchief under his left armpit all the way to the finish. And you can see that. He showed how you held the handkerchief under your left armpit, and when you finished, the left arm just folded on your body. That's the 5 Fundamentals of Golf. And Ben Hogan also made another statement. He said, you hold the handkerchief under your left armpit back and through to the finish. And he says, I wish I had 3 right hands to hit it with. Now, folks, in my opinion, this is the greatest ball striker that ever lived. You can take his golf swing, which he built. He did not have nearly as good a golf swing in the 40s as he had in the 50s and afterwards. He totally changed his swing, which is very obvious in the pictures that we show you where he changed it from. And here, in my opinion, and you look at it, and then you see what he changed to, and you see what every great player does, and we'll show them all to you before you leave. They all had the handkerchief under their left arm, and they all fire their right side.
Now let's all join Jimmy back out on the practice range.
Now, before we fire the right side, as we've said before, we have to load it. I want you to please understand, there's no way you can take your right side and square it up to the ball if you stay on your left side. Anyone who stays on their left side has to pull the club down, and there again we're in the reverse pivot.
Now notice George Knudsen here. Watch how as he moves back, the weight moves back to the right leg, goes into his inside of his right foot. Now watch his right side fire here, and his weight ends up on the left side.
Now, you can't go over the top if you get into your right side and fire the right side from the ground up. The right foot, the right knee, the right hip, the right lat, all starts down in a chain reaction starting from the ground up. Now there again, you start from here, which is how you would spring the shaft, and that's how you're firing the right side. You would never start the downswing by leading with your left hip. If you did, you would be pulling the club down and creating an angle of the club out of center. You never start down by pulling down with the arms. That makes the body tilt back and makes you hit across the line into the block position. You start down by taking the right side, and as Ben Hogan said in 1957 in the Fundamentals of Golf, you take your right side and it unwinds to your left. Hogan says, I wish I had 3 right hands. That's proof to me of what we're talking about. He loads into his right leg, and he says it's like a shortstop making the play to the second baseman with his right side. You can see how my right foot, right knee, right hip would start forward. That would make my spine and my whole right side square up at impact, and that lets me stretch my right side and allows me to extend my right side down the line. You want to get an extended right side down the line of flight. That's the only way you can hit a descending blow down and through the ball. You have to keep your right hip up to be able to hit down, or what we call it drives up. When the right foot, right knee, right hip kicks up, I feel my right side hitting down. If I pull my left side at the ball, my right hip goes under my left, my right elbow would tuck in, and I'm hitting under and up and across the line every single trip. The more I tuck my right elbow in and pull my left arm, the more across the ball I am.
Now here's Raymond Floyd. Watch his right side fire. You can just see the power come out of it as he starts down. Now look at the right side. His hips finish level. Look at the stretch through the ball.
I'd like for you to think about it in another way. If I told you to take the back of your left hand and square up and hit something solid, could you do that pulling your left arm, or do you think you'd fire your right side to backhand someone? I'd like to demonstrate on this card. If I go over here and I wanted to set up with the back of my left hand to this cart seat, the way I would hit that cart seat is first get into my right leg, but I wouldn't stay on my right side. I wouldn't stay behind the ball and square up and pull my left arm. I couldn't. The low point of my arm would be behind the ball hitting up. What would I do when I got into my right side? I'd fire my right side, allowing the back of my left hand to square up to the club, to the back to the cart seat, not the butt of my hand. If you slide and pull, you'd be hitting the cart seat with the butt of your hand, with a stiff left arm, with the body hanging back. That's under, up, and across, plus you're hitting the cart seat a glancing blow. But by starting with your right side and feeling the left elbow fold down, I'm hitting that cart seat hard with the back of my left hand, and where would my right hand be? Squaring up, my hips would be level. I can hit the cart hard. I could push it forward. What would happen if I pulled and stayed back on my right side? The idea is what I want you to understand in the golf swing is, if I'm going to propel something in that direction, I cannot pull this way and propel something in that direction. Could you imagine a baseball batter pulling the handle of the bat? His right arm would be under his left and he'd hit it to right field all day long, or he'd have to hang back and be a pull hitter. But if he's going to hit a home run, he fires his right, his left folds down, the bat squares up, and he hits it with the head of the bat, not the handle of the bat. Golf pros for years have told people they feel like they pull the handle of the club at the ball. How in the world can you propel a ball in that direction, pulling your left arm in the handle of the club at the ball? I would suggest trying to hit it with the club head. And if you want to hit it with the club head, your left arm is going to fold and you'll fire your right side, and that will square that club head up. That will let you hit a descending blow down the line of flight. That's firing your right side. If you're pulling your left, you can never square it up and you can never hit it solid. It's always a glancing blow across. Now, I think one of the best examples that I can give you of the right side unwinding up to the left is I want you to understand this. Look at Trevino and look at Gary Player. Gary Player and Trevino, when they hit a shot, you can see every time they fire their right side so hard that they take steps forward. Now, the point I want you to see here, if I fire my right side and I step forward, can you see how I would be extending down the line of flight? If you notice Gary Player and if you notice Lee Trevino, you'll also find when they fire their right side, their right leg works down the outer rail, which is down the line of flight. When it's done incorrectly, when the players pull and slide and stay behind the ball, the low point of their arc is behind the ball, hitting up and across the line, and you can see where all the weight's back here, they would fall backward out of the shot. Now, one other thing, Artie, you know, we talk about the roll a lot, and I guess that's because it's the most common thing that we find with our golfers. And it all goes back again, and it sounds a little repetitive maybe at times, but people are told to hold their head still, get a stiff left arm, and take the club inside. That, to me, is one of the worst things you can tell somebody. And what happens, let's demonstrate the roll one more time, and then let's talk about a feel to get a person out of the roll. First, show if you kept your head still in the body how your left arm would roll over your right. Right there's an angle. The club is on too flat a plane. His arm is disconnected. There's no way there that he can use his legs and body. So from there, you'd pull through with the arms over the top, pull with the arms, and block it. Every time we see the club hit over the top, we always find it's because the guy took it inside and rolled it. Tell them about a feel you feel with that left elbow to get the club back right and it ties it into the shoulder. Describe that feel.
A lot of times, if you can just make sure that your left elbow, which should start pointed at your left hip, at the top of your backswing, if it's pointed at the ground, it'd be very difficult to have rolled your left arm over your right, because if you did, the left elbow would be pointed at you, Coach.
Right.
Out.
And look at the socket, how the arm is disconnected from the socket. Now there again, if you held the handkerchief under your left armpit, plugged it in, do you see how the left elbow would be down? That's where good hitters would be in any sport. Now from there, show them how, as it squares up, where the left elbow would be. Now where is the butt of the club? Take that back again to center, Artie. Show that left elbow folding down and stop right there. There. See how the butt of the club's back in the center of the body. Now show him as the left elbow releases, the club is still in the center. He's releasing his whole right side and his body. With what, Artie?
With my
feet and legs, right?
You betcha.
Now bring it back, set it down, and take it back up there again with the feet and legs. This little drill is great. And through. Now another drill, show them, and I think again it gets back to good feels and you do it right. Show them the split grip drill. This is our favorite drill.
Yeah, it's very hard to take the club inside when you're splitting your hands because it would feel awkward. Now, when you have them together, it doesn't feel so awkward, but if you were to split your hands, it puts your hands and body in the right spot just about every time. You need about 2 or 3 inches between your hands to do it, and you feel left and right equally.
And show them as you square back up where it would be, and there it folds and rolls down, bring it around, it's where it started. This is the drill that Curtis Strange tells me all the time. He thinks this is the best drill that's ever been done. He thinks it's meant more to him about his golf swing than any single thing. There and there. Very good. Hit a couple of shots now. Show him some club head speed. And show him now a tossing motion with a club in your right hand. And I want them to see how you're generating that club head speed with your feet, legs, and body. That all you're doing is holding the club with your right arm. Do a one-handed swing, just away from the ball, Artie. Just take the left hand off the club. Show them the tossing motion. That's the tossing motion. Now, that's what Hogan referred to when he said, feel like you're throwing a ball underhanded with your right side. Watch as he loads back. Let the right go. Now, show them what would happen if you got back and tried to pull the club down with your right arm. Or it would just flip by you and cross over. That way. It's right side. Show them the difference in right side. And show them right arm. And the body stop it. Stay back and there. That's what people are told. Stay behind it, cross your right arm over your left. It's fine if you like to hit duck hooks.
Now let's review what we've talked about today. All athletes fire the right side. Watch the quarterback here as he loads into his right side. Watch how the whole right side comes forward and he ends up on his left side. Watch the baseball player here. Watch his right side release. Watch the hockey player from the ground up as he shoots the hockey puck. Watch the golfer. Watch the right foot, right knee. Watch the right side stretch through the ball. Secondly, when you fire the right side, the right hip must be up to hit a descending blow. Watch Hogan here. Watch as he moves back into the right side. You'll see the right side fire and stretch through the ball. See the right hip level and the stretching, all of his weight on the left side. And finally, you must maintain centrifugal force to be square at impact. Watch J.C. Sneed here. His right hand's on the outer force, the left hand's on the inner force. Watch as he goes through the ball. You'll see his right hand stay on the outer force, and the club squares up through impact. Proof to me has been Hogan. He once said he wishes he had 3 right hands to hit it with. To me, that's the proof of the firing of the right side. Now take these fundamentals to the practice tee and work on them.
Next week on Jimmy Ballard, the fundamental golf swing.
I never like to talk in the hitting area because I feel that's a result of getting in the right position at the top and knowing where to go at the finish. And so therefore, the triangle at waist high with the club in the center of the body is proof of the release in the golf swing.
Jimmy will also explain how to release down the line of flight to prevent the dreaded slice. All this and more next week on Jimmy Ballard, the fundamental golf swing.